going to make is, I'm calling it a teacher planner folio, I guess. And I'm going to be making just something handy for me to carry at school, that I can have some paper and some sort of planner and some pockets. So when I make this, I'm going to be using craft text for my spines. And so let me show you. This is a similar book, somewhat similar in that I made the dimensions are a little bit different, but just so you can get an idea of what it's going to look like, is it's going to open up and have a flap on each side. Okay, and then I'm going to put a notebook in the center, but the insides are going to look different than this because this isn't useful for me as a teacher. So these spines here and here are going to be made out of craft text. Now you can use another durable paper. I've seen some people use paper with the Tyvek, but craft text is kind of a paper slash material. So that's what I used. I think it's going to be more durable. It doesn't really rip. So for my spine pieces, I'm going to need 2 that are 2 by 8.5 and 1 that's 2.5 by 8.5. Okay. Now when I do this, I'm trying to get a curved look to my spine. So you're going to put your 2.5, this is the one piece that's 2.5 by 8.5. The 2.5 inch piece, you're going to score at 1/2, and then you're going to go every 1/4 inch until you get to 2. Then you just stop at 2 so that you have a 1/2 inch border on each side. So it's 1/2, 3/4, 1, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, and 2. Okay, so then you as you are burnishing those, you just want that rounded look. Okay, now the 2 that measure 2 by 8.5, you're basically doing the same thing. You want a 1/2 inch on each side. So you're placing your 2 inches across the top. You're going to score at 1/2 and then go by 1/4. So 3/4, 1, 1 1/4, 1 1/2. Stop at 1 1/2 so that you have the 1/2 inch border on each side. Again, use your burnishing, kind of round it off. And then what you're going to do is on that 1/2 inch piece, we're going to miter on the top and on the bottom. Okay. Like, it's dark, it's so hard to see. Okay, so by mitering, I just mean take off that corner to the first 1/2 inch score line on each side. And then do that on all of your pieces. And this is just to make the paper slide in easier without it being too big or showing too much of the spine we want to cover. Okay, so mitered all 4 corners. And then I'm going to do that on the larger piece also. Like so. Okay. All right, so let me clean up those little pieces. So you're going to have 2 sets of pages. So I'm going to give you the dimensions for this side and for this side. Okay, so these 2 sides. Now, originally I saw another lady make this. I'm altering it, so it's not going to be exactly the same. I've changed the measurements and the inside's going to look different. So just so you know. So here's what you're going to need. 2 pieces that are 5.5 by 8.5 and 2 that are 5.5 by 9.5. Now the ones that are 5.5 by 8.5 you do nothing to. You're just going to leave them like that. And then the ones that are 9.5, you're going to put the 9.5 inch side across the top of your scoreboard, score at 1/2 and at 9. You're going to burnish those. And then what you're going to do is glue the 5.5 by 8.5 on top. Okay, and that's going to make your pages so that it's open on, it's going to be open on the inside. So let me finish the scoring and the burnishing and then I'll do that. I tried to do some stuff off camera just to make it go a little bit faster, and for those of you who are seasoned, you don't need to see all those little tiny details, but those of you who aren't, I want to give you enough information so it makes sense. So I did that to both of my 9.5 inch pieces. I scored at 1/2 and at 9. Now I'm burnishing those, and then I'm going to take the 8.5 inch piece and I'm going to glue one side at a time. So you put glue on the 1/2 inch that's folded over. And I didn't know if red would be easier to see or not. I'm using red and black. I thought that would be good for the paper I'm using, and it's teachery because of the primary colors. Okay, so just make sure those are lined up real well. Burnish it. Have your dry handy wipe handy in case you get glue. I get glue on my fingers really bad. I'm kind of messy, I guess. Okay, and then go ahead and put glue on the other 1/2 inch. And let's make sure it lines up. And then you're going to burnish that. Now I could have tapered my edges, but I didn't. But that's okay. You don't have to. But I have just it doesn't meet, just there's a tiny little bit overhang on this, so I just want to make sure that that's even. I don't even think I needed to do that, but okay. So then what you have is that back page, one of them, and it should be open all the way through there. So while I'm doing it, I'm going to go ahead and do the other one too. And I made this bigger so I could hold a notebook. So let me show you the notebook here in just a second. So you can decide if you want to set yours up like mine. I did it to work with the materials I had, the dimensions. Alrighty, and then make sure, good. Let's go ahead. Oh, that wasn't good. Sorry. Oh, just a second. My cord is hanging. No, I'm crooked. Sorry, you guys. Close your eyes. I gotta adjust, and I don't want you to be dizzy. That's awful. Okay. Good enough, right? So now let's go ahead and finish this one off. I'm kind of a planner / organizer hoarder. Like, I have a lot of them, but I use a lot. Like, I have one I have more than one at home. I have one at home. I have one at school. I have more than one at school too. But I like variety. I don't like to use the same planner all the time. I like to change them out. And this one's good for like when I have meetings too. Most people nowadays take notes on their phone or on their computer, but I'm still a writer. So I like to have a notepad handy. Okay, so those are the 2 pages that are going to be our back base, and we'll have a spine in between. So now the next pages, the flaps, you're going to need 2 that are 5 by 8.5 and 2 that are 5.5 by 9.5. So these that are 5 by 8.5, do nothing with those. We're going to leave them that way. And it's very similar to what we did last time, but we are going to have one end closed. So we're going to be scoring on 3 sides. So if you would put the 9.5 inch side across the top, score at 1/2, score at 9. Then turn your paper so that the 5.5 inches is across the top and score at 1/2. So you have 3 score marks on both of your 9.5 inch pieces. What I would like for you to do next is take out that square in the corner by angling the square off. Oh, I hate that little. So there's a square where the lines intersect. Just cut them at an angle, like so. And I think I am going to miter just a slight bit here. Just a slight angle there. Do that on the next one too. Everything you do twice. All right. Clean up my mess. Go ahead and burnish your score marks. Now this is Artisan Cardstock, so it's sturdy. So that's why I don't need to make this planner with chipboard, even a lightweight chipboard, because by the time you use the Artisan Cardstock and you have 2 layers of paper on it, it is really sturdy. You can cover it. I mean, if you want to do a covered chipboard one, that'll work too. I would use the thin chipboard though, like the cereal box thickness. Okay, so we are going to glue the 5-inch pieces on top. Okay, like so. So I'm going to do the long side first and put glue there. I used to do all 3 sides at once, but I just am too messy, and I've decided it's better for me to do one side, lay it down, and then put the rest on. All right. So now I'm going to get rid of that excess glue. And I'm going to put glue on these 2 sides and then bring that over and glue it down. So now the 2 sides. And what we're doing to this one, we're going to do to the other one too. Okay, bring it up and over. Go ahead and burnish. So you have one side that's open where you'll attach it to the spine piece, and one side that's closed. I have my wedding ring on this finger because it's so cold down here. My hands kind of shrink and then my wedding ring falls off, so I just put on a different finger and then it doesn't happen. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that to this one also. And okay. Burnishing it down. Get rid of any excess glue on the inside. I must put too much on there. And then do the sides next. This is a great teacher gift, beginning of the year, end of the year, either one. I can tell you I lived by my planner this last 7 weeks of school, being at home teaching online. That was interesting. So I had to write everything down. When you're not in your normal environment, when you're teaching, I don't know, it was easy for me to forget things that weren't right there in front of my face. So that could be my age too, but so this would be also, depending on how you decorate, could be good for anybody for a gift, but we're going to use school paper. But you can see, like this one, this is my home one, so that's not even close to being school related, and it's going to look totally different. And that one's a little bit smaller, it ended up being. Okay, so we are going to attach our spine piece. So the one that was larger, the 2.5 inch one, let's do a dry fit and see that it goes inside here. And you want to go to that first score line. So you're putting that 1/2 inch piece, you're going to put glue on it on the front and on the back of that 1/2 inch, and you're going to slide it in and glue it down. Okay, so that's why we tapered it, so it lines up nice and neat. So put glue on both sides of that 1/2 inch. Okay. Alrighty, and let's slide it in. And I want it to go to that first score mark. Get the dry wet wipe. Okay, it is May and my furnace just kicked on. This is crazy. It's supposed to rain and storm here tonight though, so. Okay, and we're going to connect the other piece that's open on both sides, the one that goes all the way through. So let's go ahead and do the same thing. Place glue on the 1/2 inch strip on the inside and on the outside. And so the inside of this book is going to be a lot of pockets. Where'd it go? Oh my gosh, it's right in my hand. Okay. So again, slide it in to the 1/2 inch line. Oopsie. Get in there. Okay. So there is our main book, and now we're going to attach the flaps. So it's the side that's open that is going to be attached here so that it opens, and so we need to add another spine piece. So we're going to use the ones that were 2 inches now, and we're going to place the spine just like we did before. The 1/2 inch will have glue, and then it's going to attach. And that's going to be our flap. Now I'm making mine a little bit thicker so I can hold more stuff because I got a lot of stuff. Okay, here we go. 1/2 inch glue. Now this craft text came, the one that I bought came in 3 colors. It was a beige, like a, well, tan, and white and black. And they came in a long roll, and it was quite a while ago, but there was a lot on a roll. And so I've had it for quite a while, and I forget that I have it, but I really do like to use it for these spines. It's just way durable. Okay, let's slide that in to that 1/2 inch. Perfect. Excess glue off. Let's see if there's any glue over here, of course. Okay, and now let's attach the page. So I'm turning mine sideways, it's just easier for me. Glue. A lot of repetition with this one. But they go pretty fast then. Got a string on there. Okay. Slide her on. Right up to that score line. Okay, so this is what we have so far. One flap. Now we just need one more flap. Go ahead and finish her up. You should know what to do by now. We're doing the same thing over and over. So 1/2 inch, glue her down. Okay. Burnish, make sure it's stuck. Then we're going to turn it over, get rid of any excess glue. And we're almost there. Last piece. I think that's going to be cute with the red and black together, if I do say so myself. I'm using School Days, if I didn't say that. It's a Carta Bella paper. So this is a kind of a spin on a traveler's notebook. Different dimensions, but I'm adding 2 holes to add an elastic to hold a notebook. Now I had a pre-made notebook, so I'm just going to cover it, but you can make your own too. Just bind some paper together. Okay. All right, everything lined up real well. Flip. Okie dokie. So this is what we have. Now, I'm not putting any kind of closure on mine because I want to be able to open it and get to the things I want real fast. Okay. Oh, I like it. So, here's the notebook. I say that. Where's the other one? Hold on. Where did I put that other notebook that I'm going to use? Where? Oh, crud. I can't find it. What did I... Okay, well here's one. This was a pre-bought one, but see it's got times in there and notes, what I learned, today's wins and goals, but I don't know. I think I got it at TJ Maxx, but this is a nice one because it's stitched. And it came with another one. Where... Okay, for real. I lose things so easy. I can't find it. I only have so much room on here on my desk. Oh, for Pete's... Well, I'm going to go get another one because I have no idea. Does it fall on the floor? No. Is it... Wait. Nope. Oh, brother. How ridiculous is that? Now it's going to drive me nuts. Huh. This is a 5 by... about... Actually, it's probably supposed to be 8, but it's about 7 7/8. So that's why I expanded this back page, because I want it to hold this so that I have a tablet to write with. So we need a pocket to hold this back piece in. So we'll slide this cardboard piece into a pocket. Now, I could actually have 2 of these notebooks if I wanted. I don't think I do. I don't know. Maybe I'll just make another pocket here for some papers. I might do that. Okay, so let me get my thoughts together and I'll start giving you the dimensions for the next part. Okay, I'm going basic on the inside because I think I'll use it more if I just have like one big pocket instead of small ones. So this is what we're doing. I don't know if you can tell. Oh yeah, you can see it. This pocket is, it can hold a notebook, and this is an L pocket, so I can stick papers in there. I can also stick paper clips right here along the edge if I need to, but I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to show you how to do this on this side. For the pocket that's going to hold my notebook, it's 6.5 by 5.5. On the 6.5 inch side, score at 1/2 and at 6. Turn it once and then score at 1/2 inch with it being on the 5.5 side. The next piece that you're going to want for that L pocket is 5.5 by 9, so 5.5 by 9 tall. Now you're going to need a left hand side and a right hand side. So you're going to be doing one, they're going to have to be a mirror image. So I already did the one for the left hand side that was at 1/2. Then I turned it and did it at 1/2. This one though is going to be on the right side. So I'm going to score it just a little bit differently, just to kind of help you remember that you have to have one for each side. So score at 5. Turn it once and score at 8.5. That might help remember that you have to have a left and a right. Okay, so just like we do, let's cut out the corner where they intersected, and I'm going to miter the top and this bottom. Okay, and we'll burnish that in a sec. The pocket, cut out the corners. And miter at the top. Okay, you'd be doing 2 of these. So the measurements I gave, double them. Let's go ahead and burnish. You could do a decorative border at the top if you wanted to. I don't, but you might want to. Depends what your purpose is for making it. For school, I don't want one, but if I was making something fancy, I might. Okay, the L pocket. Now again, this is the one for the right hand side. So you have to do some scoring. Do that. So when I have this on my board, if I'm doing the left hand side, I would do 1/2, turn it, and 1/2. For this one that's on the right hand side, just to help me remember, I'm going to score at 5, turn it once, and at 8.5. Okay. Now I want an angled pocket. So from my, this is my 1/2 inch over here. I want, so this is actually going to be 5 inches wide if you don't count this 1/2 inch strip. Okay. So I want to go in 1.5 inches. Isn't that what I did? Yeah. So I'm going to go to 3.5 and I'm going to put a little tick mark. I'm going to turn it, and the bottom of my pocket is over here at 8.5, and I need to go up 1.5 inches. So that would be 7. So you know what? I don't want to screw up, so I'm gonna, instead of doing 7, I'm gonna put the 1/2 inch on my left, and 1/2, 1.5. I'm gonna go at 2. Okay. Did I do that right? Yeah. So I have 2 little tick marks. I don't know if you can see them. There's one up at the top. And where's the one down? There's the other one. So I'm going to put that in my cutter here. I have a big cutter, but I'll show you what I'm going to do. Okay. So I'm going to place the tick mark in the cutting channel. Oops, wrong direction. So tick marks go in the cutting channel to cut off that triangle. Oh, I get a frayed edge if I don't have that cutting device at the top and go down. So let me redo this. It takes off your triangle. Okay. Discard that. Let's go ahead and do glue the L pocket on first. So I'm going to burnish it. Now I usually don't show, what do you call it? Matting. I think it's kind of monotonous to watch somebody mat their papers, but I go 1/8 of an inch smaller. So if this is 5 by 8.5, my paper to mat would be 4 7/8 by 8 3/8. And then I would do my tick marks. Eraser, because I don't like those marks. Alrighty. On my book, it's this very last flap. We're going to butt it up right to the bottom and right to the edge so that it is lined up perfectly. Yep, looks good. Okay. And I am just going to put glue on both of these at the same time. Okay. Line it up at the bottom and on the side. Okay. So when they hand out very important papers at staff meetings, I can fold them in half, tuck them in there. I was not being facetious. They are very important. Okay. Pocket to hold notebook. like all pockets, take out the corners on each side, angle the top, so mine are the two tops, and we're going to glue that right down here, lining it up with the bottom and the sides. Now this one, I'm just going to do the bottom piece first. I think I get so much glue on my fingers, sometimes it's less messy if I just do the one side. Okay. Looks good. See, I still got glue on my paper. Gee, Christmas. I mean, it gets covered, but I just don't understand why it can't be neater. And I'm one of those people, I hate glue on my fingers. Ugh, I hate messy, dirty hands. Hate it. I can never be a mechanic. Okay, now the side pieces. We'll put glue on both of the sides at the same time. Okay, bring it up, and it should line up perfectly. Okay, ugh. Now what's nice then, when you do your matting, like on these, you don't have to do a full sheet. So you'll just cut a piece. If these are 5.5 inches, I think they are. Yeah, these are 5.5. I would cut it 5 3/8 across, and then I would only go down probably 4.5 inches, so you don't have to waste your paper. So the inside is done. Pretty basic, huh? So on these, I don't know if I want these to be the same. I know that I want some short layered pockets on one of them, and I'm trying to decide, do I want the other one to be plain, or do I want to laminate a piece of paper? So I won't use dry erase. I know myself. Maybe I'm going to do a mirror image. I know I will. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Now, I don't know, it's pink. I have these bands that I thought I could use to keep it closed. Sure can. That's what I'm going to use, but I gotta get rid of that pink, so I'm going to have to cover that pink up with something, flower or something. Okay, I digress. So let me get the measurements for you for these layered pockets we're going to do. Okay, I decided to go with layered pockets, and they're a little bit shorter. However, this top one can go all the way down. This middle one, something can go all the way down. And then we have that little one at the bottom. So to make these, you'll need 6 pieces that measure 3 by 6. Now 4 of them we're just going to score at, because you're going to do 3 on each side. So place the 6 inches across the top. Score at 1/2 and 5.5. Do that to all 6, half on each end. But on 2 of them, you're going to want to also do the 1/2 inch on the 3-inch side. Okay. So this is the bottom pocket. So then the one that has that 1/2 inch. So taper your tops, cut out the corners at an angle, and then you will burnish those. Now, the 4 that you did just a 1/2 on each end, these are going to be the pockets that go on top. So what I do is, our pockets are 2.5 inches. You'll see 2.5 inches. So place the 3-inch side up at the top and put a little tick mark at 2.5 to that score line. Okay. So at 2.5, there you go. At 2.5, I put a tick mark. So now turn it over around and put it on the other end and put a tick mark at 8.5 to that score line. And that's just we're gonna use as a guide to do some cutting. I'm going to do that again. We did a 1/2 inch on each side on the 6-inch side. Turn it to the 3-inch side and score at 2.5, just to that 1/2 inch score mark that we already made. Turn it around, put it on the other end of your board, and score at 8.5. Okay. Ooh, sorry. Here we go, burnish time. So this is the bottom pocket. Okay, now on the other ones, at the 2.5, we're going to go ahead and angle that corner out like we did on all the other ones. The only difference is there's no score line down here. So angle cut that square out and then taper the tops. So the only difference is there's no bottom score line. Do that to both. Angle, 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 and angle up here. Okay, do that. Okay, so now we are going to put the bottom piece on. So that's the one that has, oh, that's not the right one. The one that has the 3 score sides, and we're going to place that at the very bottom. We're going to line it up with the bottom and the sides. Now this one I'm just going to do the bottom, and it's 3 sides. I'm going to do the bottom first and then put the glue on the sides, try to make less of a mess. Line it up at the bottom. Okay. Burnish that in. Get rid of that extra glue. Okay, now I'll do the 2 sides. Okay. Oh. Burnish it. Okay, so then the other pieces get stacked, and because we want these pockets to go all the way down, that's why there's no score mark down here and we're not gluing anything at the bottom. So go ahead and burnish the 2 sides. Oh, wrong thing. And then this is going to act as a guide or a stopper so it doesn't go all the way down. So when you're going to scoot this in like so, and then just glue those 2 sides. Don't glue anything on the bottom of this piece. All right. Make sure everything gets lined up and neat. Burnish. Ugh. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing with that last one. Burnish the 2 sides. And you guys, that's going to be it. Oh no, I got to punch holes for the booklet. Hold on. One more thing to do. Okay, I like to do a dry fit first just to make sure that I don't need to do any adjusting. Okay. And slide it in. So now this goes all the way down like so. Okay. Oh, sorry, bumped the camera. So that's the main part of the book, and once I put everything in, it'll stay closed better. But I'm going to get my big bite thing, and I'm going to punch a hole in the center near the top and one near the bottom, so I can string a piece of elastic in there so that it will hold my booklet. So once the elastic's in there, you just put the elastic through here and it'll hold it. Okay, so do you need to see me punch holes? I mean, it's I'm going to use what do you call it, eyelets, but I'm just going to punch a hole in the center near the bottom and a hole near the top. That's all I'm going to do. All right, okay, I'm going to show you what it's going to look like once I've decorated it. I'm going to walk you through my final project so you can see how what it looks like once I added the papers. So first of all, here are the holes that I was talking about. There's an eyelet at the top and at the bottom just so it doesn't get ripped. And then I strung a piece of silver elastic. This doesn't look the greatest on the outside, but it's just for me, so it doesn't bother me. I did put a charm. I think they call these bulb pins. I have some of those, and then I just put that through the hole, and I had a charm that was yellow and red, so it matched, and it says sweet, so I added that dangle. The front and the back are decorated with the same paper, so I have the pencil paper on top. This is the border paper, and then this is some of the apple trim that you can get at the store. So the same is done on the front, but I added some metal corners on the green part. I had some enamel dots. I have a Tim Holtz vintage globe that I punched out of 3 different papers and then paper pieced them together. This is from the Ephemera. I had this little star in my stash, and I have a little bow down here. So when you open it, look how colorful it is. Here are the pockets. This one goes all the way down, so you can like put half pieces of paper in there. Then there's a second pocket, and then there's this little one at the bottom. I just put some of the cut aparts in there. I have a little flag there, but I have some of these library cards, so I thought, well, put that in there. Bow with the seam binding, ephemera, and then when you open it, I cut out some of the flash cards that were in the paper collection. I just for right now have some envelopes that match these basic cards. Ephemera that I mounted or put on some of the Artisan. So that's just 2 pockets. And then the traveler's notebook or the planner I'm using, 2 flags with a burlap or a twine bow, a little button, 2 flat back black, not pearls, but flat back things down here at the bottom. This where it says name came from the, I think it was a border strip, I don't remember. And then I didn't do anything on the inside, I just left it plain. And then on the back I just put the star paper. So this side is the same as the other side, so the decorating is pretty much the same. Still have the seam binding, a little decorative piece in the corner, the pockets go all the way down. But on this one, this is where I put the pad of paper, so I did add some of the pattern paper on the top of that, and then it just goes down in that pocket. And then more of the flashcards with some more envelopes. So to me, this is going to be useful in my job when we go to staff meetings or when I go to any kind of meeting, just to have my planner handy. I still use a paper planner. I just can't get used to doing it on my phone. And then just to tuck notes and to have notes handy. So it doesn't need a closure because it's a soft cover. It is not as heavy, but it's still going to be durable because we have like 3 layers of paper. I like the fact that it stays closed without the bow, because, or the, what do you call it, some sort of, I usually do a bow with trim, but I like not having to untie it and tie it every time I need to do something with it. So that is the final book. If you do have questions, let me know. I did want to show you real quick also, Tammy from Country Craft Creations did a birdhouse, and she has a tutorial up on her channel, which is Country Craft Creations, but this was my take on the birdhouse. So I used some of the same paper, just put the word school, have some flowers. I did put mine on a base. She didn't have hers on a base, but I went through my stuff and I had this door. It's made out of wood. I thought, and it's red. It was perfect. But my roof comes off, and so I did put paper on the inside also, and I'm just going to put it on my desk and store pens. So if you are interested, she does have a tutorial on how to make the birdhouse. I made a few adjustments, but you can adjust yours too, whatever your purpose is. Hers is for decoration, so she didn't put any paper on the inside, and her roof stays attached, and there's no base. So that is what I did with the School Days paper also. So it's going to be a cute set. All right, thank you for joining me, you guys. If you have questions, let me know, but this paper is super cute.